So good morning to all. So during the last lecture, we have started first chapter, that is simple mechanism. In that we have discussed regarding what is kinematics, then dynamics, then we have seen a definition of the kinematics, then kinematic link or element, then resistant body, then types of links, rigid link, flexible link, fluid link. Then we have seen types of rigid link, binary link, ternary link, quaternary link. Then we have seen kinematic pair. Then types of kinematic pair. So on the basis of relating motion between the two links, how many types are there? 5 types are there. Then on the basis of nature of contact between the links, there are 2 types. One is based on surface or area contact, and other is based on line or point contact. And third type of kinematic pair, that depends upon nature of mechanical arrangement between the links. Then we have seen examples of sliding pair, turning pair, rolling pair, screw pair, and spherical pair. Then these are the applications where these pairs are used. Then this is regarding lower pair and the higher pair, then closed pair and unclosed pair. So I request all the students to mute their mic. Okay. Now next part, that is kinematic chain. So this we need to study during this lecture. One minute. As shown in this figure, so we'll study what is kinematic chain. So this is one schematic diagram which indicates a reciprocating steam engine. This one is the piston, then piston rod, then this is connecting rod. So actually this additionally it is shown, but generally this connecting rod is directly connected to the piston. But for having more clarity with respect to the pair kinematic chain, this diagram is shown. So this is piston rod. This is again small end bearing. This is again one more piston in actual engine. This one is the piston, this is the connecting rod, and here it is big end bearing. So here you can see piston, this is the piston rod and crosshead. So this piston is going to slide inside this rectangle, or you can consider it as a chamber. So this is called as a crosshead. So this constitute one link. This is known as one link. Then here you can see connecting rod. This is the connecting rod. This one is small end. This one is big end. So at the small end there is bearing. At the big end there is one bearing. So big end bearing and small end bearing. So connecting rod, this small bearing and this big bearing constitute second link. Then next one, the crankshaft. This is the crankshaft. Crank and the flywheel. This is the third link. So like these links are there, so whenever you are going to see schematic diagram only with the line, you will have more understanding with respect to the same one. So what is kinematic chain? So combination of kinematic pair to transmit definite motion. So what is kinematic pair? So these are the kinematic pairs. So when two links or elements are in contact with each other, then it is known as pair. And if the motion between them is constrained successfully, so that there will be one definite direction of the motion, then it is called as a kinematic pair. Now here you can see this is a piston. It is going to reciprocate along this line. So whatever I am indicating, so this piston is going to reciprocate along this line. So this motion, that means that motion is constrained successfully. Then whatever this crosshead or the cylinder and the piston is called as a kinematic pair. Is called as a kinematic pair. Similarly, this is the connecting rod. This is the bearing. This is the bearing. This is the bearing. So this is also one pair. So whatever rotary motion that can be transferred is in this direction, vice versa, whenever for the starting. And here if piston is going to reciprocate, there will be rotary motion of the flywheel. So that motion is transmitted with the help of small end bearing, connecting rod and big end bearing. So therefore it is also called as a one more kinetic pair. So each link, second important point, each link forms a part of two pair. Part of two pair. Now what you are going to see here, this is the connecting rod. Here it is big end bearing. This is called as a one pair. Here it is small end bearing and connecting rod. This is called as a one pair. So each link form a part of two pair. Then relative motion between the links or elements is completely or successfully constrained. Now here we can consider it as a successfully constrained or completely constrained. That is the definition, or that type of motion if existing, then it is called as a kinematic pair for those particular links. Then this is about kinematic chain. So what is the definition of the kinematic chain? combination of kinematic pairs to transmit definite motion, that is called as a kinematic pair. That is called as a kinematic chain. So kinematic pairs are combined to transmit the definite motion. Then mechanism. So what is mechanism? So this is about the kinematic chain. Then we will see what is the mechanism. A mechanism is a kinematic chain with any one link fixed, which is used to transmit motion. So once again, a mechanism is a kinematic chain with any one link fixed, which is used to transmit the motion. And what is kinematic chain? See the kinematic chain definition once again. This is the kinematic chain. Combination of kinematic pairs to transmit definite motion. Now, this is example of kinematic chain to transmit definite motion. And what is mechanism? Whatever kinematic links which are used to constitute pair or to constitute chain, amongst these elements, one link or the element, if it is fixed, then we can transmit motion, and that is nothing but the mechanism. So here example with respect to the mechanism: engine indicators. So on the dashboard of the automobile or the car, you might have seen engine indicators, which indicates oil level, which indicates temperature, which indicates speed of the engine, RPM, which indicates speed of the vehicle, kilometers per hour, which indicates fuel, whether it is empty or full. So those indicators are nothing but the examples of the mechanism. Then typewriter. So we are putting press on the keys, and on the page there will be footprints of the letters. So that is one of the example of the mechanism. Then clockwork, right? So whatever spring tension that works, and that motion is transmitted to rotate the hour hand, minute hand, and the second hand. Then there are two types of mechanisms. First one, that is simple mechanism, and second one, that is called as compound mechanism. So what is simple mechanism? Mechanism with four links. Mechanism with four links. That is nothing but the simple mechanism. And a mechanism having more than four links is called as compound mechanism. Is called as compound mechanism. So generally, in case of mechanism, one of the link of kinematic chain is fixed. Now, if there is kinematic chain and if we are going to fix one link, then it becomes mechanism. It can be used for transmitting or transforming motion. So those examples are there: engine indicator, fuel gauge indicator, typewriter, and the clock wheel. Then there are two types that we have seen, that is simple and compound mechanism. So mechanism having more than four links is called as a compound mechanism. Then next, we are going to see types of kinematic chains and their inversions. Types of kinematic chain and their inversions. So kinematic chain. What is kinematic chain? So various links are combined to perform certain tasks, and that is nothing but the kinematic chain. So kinematic chain, there are three types. One is 4-bar chain, second one is slider crank chain, and third one is double slider crank. So what are the characteristics of this kinematic chain? So basically kinematic chain is combination of kinematic pairs to transmit the motion. If in one case 4 turning pairs are used, then it is called as a 4-bar chain. If 3 turning pairs and 1 sliding pair is used, then it is called as a slider crank chain. And if 2 turning pair and 2 sliding pairs are used, then it is called as a double slider crank mechanism. So what is meaning of this? So here you can see this is turning pair, bearing and the connecting rod. Their turning takes place here, bearing and the connecting rod. Again this is called as a turning pair. This is the engine frame and the crank, there is turning pair. This is the piston and the cylinder, there is sliding pair. So with respect to this, if in a kinematic chain 4 turning pairs are used, then it is called as a 4-bar chain. So here there will be turning. So this one is the one link, this is another link, this is one link, this is another link, there will be turning, link, link, there will be turning, this is link, this is link, there will be turning. So this is called as a turning pair. And if there will be 3 turning pairs and 1 sliding pair, then it is called as a slider crank chain. Then it is called as a slider crank chain. Okay. Here you can see slider crank chain. So in detail we are going to study this, but what is slider crank chain? For understanding purpose, we will visualize it immediately. So this is crank, this is connecting rod, this one is the piston. So this is sliding pair, Then sliding pair means this is the piston and this one is the cylinder. There is sliding contact. This is the piston, this is the connecting rod, there is turning pair. This is connecting rod, crank, there is turning pair. And this is the engine housing or the one place where crankshaft is mounted. So there will be turning pair. So here 3 turning pair and 1 sliding pair. 3 turning pair and 1 sliding pair. That is nothing but slider crank mechanism or slider crank chain. That is nothing but the mechanism. Okay. Then next one, double slider crank. 2 turning pair and 2 sliding pair. So this is related to the 3 turning pair 1, turning pair 2, turning pair 3 and sliding pair 1. That is slider crank chain. So you can see here, this piston is sliding pair, turning pair and the turning pair. And the turning pair. Okay. Then next one, that is double slider crank. Here 2 turning pair and 2 sliding pairs will be there. Now let us see once again regarding the mechanism. So mechanism is defined as kinematic chain with one of its link fixed, called as a frame. One of its link is fixed, called as a frame. So this is very, very important. Once again we need to see this diagram. This is frame, this one is the piston, this is connecting rod, this is crank and this is the frame. Number 1, it is mentioned here, 1 it is mentioned here, 1 it is mentioned here. This link 1 is fixed. So what is definition of the mechanism? If one of the link is fixed, then that kinematic chain we are going to call it as a mechanism. So here with the help of mechanism we can get one definite motion. Suppose this piston is going to reciprocate, we will get rotation of the flywheel. Imagine flywheel here. Or if we are going to rotate the flywheel, you will get definite motion of the piston. That is nothing but the, that is called, therefore it is called as a mechanism. Now how these mechanisms can be altered? So depending upon the application, when different links of kinematic chain are used, such as frame, again if you are going to fix one of the link based on the application, the motion can be altered drastically. So and that procedure or that output, whatever we are going to get by fixing the different link, that is called as a inversion. That is called as a inversion. So these are the kinematic chains. there are three types. Then second part, so we can have one fixed link, you will get certain motion. If we are going to fix second link, we are going to get the different motion. So based on that process or to obtain different motion is called as the invergence or creating the invergence. So what is invergence? Then inversion, the method of obtaining different mechanisms by fixing different links in kinematic chain is known as inversion of the mechanism. The method of obtaining different mechanism by fixing different links in a kinematic chain is known as inversion of the mechanism. So here you can take a simple example. Here driver and the follower. So in the form of command, that we can call it as a driver, and follower that has to follow the motion, or the motion should be transmitted by that follower. So what is driver? Part of mechanism moves with respect to the frame. That is called as a frame, means fixed link. And what is follower? Part of mechanism to which motion is transmitted. To which motion is transmitted. Now here follower and the driver, we will see that terminology. Here this is the cylinder, or we can call it as a fixed block, and if explosion of gases takes place inside this space, then that explosion will push piston in this direction. Then piston becomes driver. Piston becomes driver. And which one is follower? This link 2 will be the follower. Or now suppose if we are going to rotate this link 2 in this direction, that will be the input, then it is called as a driver. And this piston has to move along this axis, then this piston is called as a follower. So this is the difference between the driver and the follower. So depending upon where input is given, the definition, the part or the form of follower and the driver is going to be changed, right? So what is the inversion? The method of obtaining different mechanism by fixing different link in a kinematic chain is known as inversion. So basically the part of mechanism which is fixed is called as a fixed link, and the part of mechanism which is in motion, that is called as a follower. So generally most of the mechanisms are reversible, so that the same link, it can act as driver and it can also act as a follower depending upon where input is given. So this piston can be act, so whatever piston is shown here can be act, number 4 can be act as a driver or can be act as a follower. This link 2 can be act as a follower or can be act as a driver depending upon where input is given. So in case of, so whatever example we have seen here, piston is the driver and flywheel, that link, as this link 2 is rotating, that means flywheel is the follower. So in other mechanism, that different follower and the driver definitions are going to be exist because of their function, what function they are going to perform. Okay, so this is about the inversion. So next part, that is Grashoff's law for 4-bar mechanism. Grashoff's law for 4-bar mechanism. So we are going to see, we have seen this kinematic chains and the inversion definition. Then we are going to see Grashoff's law, and afterwards we are going to see the inversions one by one schematically. Okay. So what is Grashoff's law? Here you can see a 4-bar mechanism. This is shortest link. This one is longest link, shortest, and this blue one is longest link. This is remaining one link which is represented by P, and this is remaining other link which is represented by Q. So S means shortest, longest means L, and remaining one, that is P, and this one is the Q. So what is Grashoff's law? So Grashoff's law indicates that the sum of shortest and longest link lengths should not be greater than sum of the remaining two link lengths to have continuous relative motion between the two links. So length of shortest link plus length of longest link should be greater than sum of the lengths of these two links to have continuous motion, between the two links, and that is called as a Grashoff's law. So depending upon these lengths, one can have different mechanism. So we can have different inversions just by fulfilling this Grashoff's law to have motion between the two links. So now let us see possible combinations of 4-bar chain or 4-bar chain mechanism. So to get the continuous motion, we need to have fulfillment of that Grashoff's law. So again, this Grashoff's law can be seen with respect to these 4 figures, 4 line diagrams. So 4-bar mechanism, that means it consists of 4 links, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Here this is turning pair, at this point there is turning pair, at this point there is turning pair, at this point there is turning pair. Now, to have continuous motion, so here this S plus L, length of shortest link plus length of longest link, should be greater than lengths of this remaining two. That means this P and Q. Then we can have the continuous motion. So this link will have travel along this arc, full revolution of both the link when this equation is going to be satisfied. So again, while designing the mechanism, it is important to ensure that the input crank should make complete revolution relative to the other link. Now, this is the second one. You can see this is the shortest link, this is the longest link, this is other link P, and this one is other link Q. So to have continuous motion of this crank, this is crank rocker mechanism. So whenever this crank is going to have full rotation, this point is going to have movement starting from this point to this will be the end of this point. So this is called as a crank rocker mechanism. So what is the condition for that? S plus L smaller than P plus Q, or it should be less than P plus Q, or P plus Q greater than this, then we have this crank rocker mechanism. Then another combination, double rocker. So if this S plus L greater than P plus Q, and you can see what are the lengths for this S, Q, P and L, and what are the length for this S, L, Q and P. Here you can see this length is fixed, S is fixed, here Q is fixed, here Q is fixed, and S is in opposite side of the Q. Here S is in opposite side of this P. So depending upon how shortest and longest link are placed with respect to this fixed one, we can have different mechanism. Again here Q is fixed, and this S and P are having the same length, and this L and Q are having the same length. Then we can have this continuous motion. So S plus L is equal to P plus Q when Q is fixed. Longest length, that is this L, is equal to Q. Then we can have parallelogram linkage. So the best example for this way we can get the coupled locomotive. Here link 1, link 3, link 2, link D. This is fixed. Link 2 and link 4 having the same